My name is Awa Ndukwe. I'm a brand strategist, and what I do is helping people discover themselves and guide them through into achieving their vision. Let me just use that using the right strategies.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi Ewanfo, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started into this episode.
I believe so much in humanity, and I believe so much in a good personality first, because even if you have the right skill set, the right tools, if you have a very wrong mindset, it's still going to affect. And that is why you have so many organizations that have the right employees, but are still finding it difficult, to hit or achieve their vision because of what we call bad management or bad personalities. So I also call myself a psychologist, kind of, and you need that in brand strategy.
All right, now let's try to understand you a little bit more now. So where were you born and where did you grow up? I'm trying to understand a bit of that because it is important to know who we are talking with. Help me with that.
Okay, until last 2 weeks, I just realized that I was born in Warri. Actually, I just found that out last 2 weeks.
Area.
I just found that out last 2 weeks. Funny enough, which is really really funny. All along, I thought I was giving birth in Lagos till I found out I was giving birth in Warri. So I'm actually Igbo from Abia State. Ohafia in Abia State, to be precise. And yep, lived most of my life in Lagos. Almost, I would say 80%. I would say 90% of my life in Lagos. I've not really gone other places in Nigeria, maybe apart from the Port Harcourt and a few other places. But yeah, I'm in Lagos right now, and that is what it is.
I would like to pursue that angle for the fact that you only knew recently about your background. But anyway, we're not going to go there.
Okay, yeah.
It's okay. So tell me, in your young adolescent year, help us to understand Lagos now in your area of growing up. What do you see around you? Help us to understand. Let us feel what you feel. Fine.
Okay, I left from Warri to Lagos. The first place we got to was, I think, Shomolu. Shomolu is in Lagos. I don't really know how Shomolu is right now, sorry, but that was like way back. Then from Shomolu, we got to Ikotu. Yep, Ikotu in Lagos then. My parents worked with the government, and so we traveled a lot, moved from one place to the other. So at Ikoton, I had my primary school, Queen's Choice Nursery Primary School, and from Queen's Choice we moved to Isolo. That is where I attended Apata Memorial High School, and I had a very good childhood, a very lovely childhood. I'm one of the few lucky ones. I won't say my parents were well-to-do, but I think I had everything that I requested for. I never knew what, should I say, economy was. But one good thing was my mom was someone that was very, very attentive. And due to the fact that she worked in Nigerian Post Authority, I came across a lot of things like, trying to, should I say, I worked with her kind of, and there I got the idea of so many things, businesses and all that. And from Isolo, I attended the University of Lagos, Unilag, and that was where things turned for me, because then I lost my best friend, who was my mom. She passed away, and then I think that's where things changed a bit because
Sorry
then
about
things
that.
arose and we lost her to cancer, and being the firstborn, the first child in the family, that is why I still believe in the family value. She taught me much about family values. So with four other younger ones, okay, And how old were we then? But I had to step up. I I basically had to start doing different businesses. Started putting my hand into anything because the truth is, it wasn't about me anymore, but about trying to make her kids survive, which was actually my siblings, and that was a promise I made to her. People ask about my dad. My dad had retired then, and he's late right now too. Things turned around, but then it actually brought out. I don't want to say the beast in me, but it brought out things I never got to know about me, which was business, business, business. I never saw myself working for anyone or probably wearing the suit and tie. Uh, uh, I don't know, for some reason, I have always wanted to put my hands into things. And even though I graduated, came out in flying colors, had one of the best certificates, had a Canadian certificate and all that, I just packed everything and put in one side and started, street. I've done a lot of businesses from then. From there, I started when I was 16. Okay. I've sold shawarma on the streets of Lagos. I know for those who don't know about shawarma, yes. I was the first person to take shawarma to Benue camp, NYC camp. I went to make shawarma for them in NYC camp from Lagos.
Can
I
you
went to
explain
the
what that mean?
Okay, shawarma is a kind of I don't want to say it's a fast food. It's not a fast food. It's a snack kind of. Yeah, you use flour and chicken and beef, cabbage, ketchup and all that, and mayonnaise, and you turn it into something nice. Let me use that word. So I started with shawarma in the camp, NYC camp, and from there I went into transport business. uh, had a few buses here and there. I went into dredging. Yeah, that was in Port Harcourt. That took me to Port Harcourt. And from dredging, I went into having restaurants. So, of course, you realize that I went into agriculture at a point in time. I was selling snails. I had a farm. So I think trying to it wasn't about me anymore. I had my friends, most of them traveled for that education masters, but I couldn't do that. I didn't have the privilege for that because I had to take care of my younger ones. So I had to pave a different path for myself that was going to actually you know cover up other people. It wasn't about me anymore. So I think that is just how it all started.
That's interesting. This is one of the most important part of the entire conversation. It is very important. No, actually, in this podcast, we try to do this. There are a couple of reasons for it. In that, first of all, it's a podcast that is centered around African diaspora, and also African, of course. By African diaspora, the question of identity become a quick issue for us, no? Because there are many people here in the diaspora who maybe were born here, they have never been to Africa, they know that they are from Africa, so they don't really have a direct root, no? So for
Yeah.
them, it is important that we talk about our identity. Where are you coming from? And then if we extend the line a little further now, we can be talking of people that have been taken away from Africa by force. So we're talking of slavery, people that have been away for hundreds of years. So they have the urge of trying to connect to Africa. So for that, we deliberately talk about us, where are we coming from, who we are. So even from a business perspective, somebody looking at you now, he would just think that you just started there and started doing brand strategy, That is not
No.
where it started actually. So
No, no. For me, it started with a whole lot of failures. It started with a whole lot of failures. I think the first business I actually did, I really, in fact, I've forgotten one. There was a time, the first business I did after school because it was difficult getting a job for those in Nigeria. It was really difficult getting a job for me, and I want to tell people out there that you not getting a job most times is a redirection for you. Doesn't mean you aren't good enough. No, I personally never really liked the whole suit and tie thing. I never really liked the way things worked. Maybe that is why I probably never got a job. I did IT in Boa Refinery, which is a good place to work in Nigeria. I did my NYC in Nigerian Content Delivery Monitoring Board. in Bielsa, which is, we're in charge of the Total, the Chevron. I did HSC, in Chevron. Like, I want to let people know that actually, I was actually there. But even in being there, I just didn't like the whole, I don't know.
The whole setup, though. This
Yeah,
this
yeah.
sad thing,
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't know. I never liked it. I mean, I was the personal secretary to Ernest Nwakpa, which was the executive secretary then in NCDMB. That is the highest post. So I probably saw it all. Okay, and I wanted to be retained, but for some reason, the Nigerian system, mom wasn't there anymore. And, I've got people that know these things. It's all about connections and all that. So that's where my connection ended, kind of. Then I should have worked at the Nigerian Post Authority, but I did still like the whole suit and tie. And I've always wanted to be creative, innovative, trying to create something, do something. And in this system, you're not really allowed to do all that. Okay. So, the first business I actually did after that was, I remember, I was 17, 18 then, funny enough. And I had this friend that they produced, I can't remember what they were producing, something about sawdust and all that. And there was another company, this was at Sele then, they had trucks. Okay. Now, this company wanted people to come and rent their trucks. And this other company were looking for trucks. And for me, I'm like, I don't
the middleman.
understand. Oh, yeah, I didn't know anything about branding. I didn't know anything about communication. I didn't know anything about the whole things you have now, which is the whole, affiliate marketing. I didn't know those things. I just knew if you have trucks and you have dollars, I mean, what is the problem? So as small as I was, I actually went to the company that had the sawdust through someone and told them I had a company. Actually,
Wow.
I had containers, and the man looked at me, and I was really really small in size. Now I think I've really added, so I think I was using that. People tend to like this young boy that is just talking to the MD and all that. Then I went to the company that had the trucks, and I told them I had sawdust. At the end of the game, I was kicked out of of the arrangement when everything worked. But that was the kind of person I was, if you understand. I was someone that, was always trying to put one and two together, put two and two together, and I'm really happy, that I took that step because today I'm looking back and I can say if I eventually worked in a company or an organization, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today, both financially, positionally, or, the whole audition I'm having right now, I wouldn't, and I made a lot of mistakes, stupid mistakes that people would say, "Oh, why you're silly," but it gave me the whole experiences. So today I'm a brand strategist, and if you're talking to me about any business, I can really relate because I've been there, I've done things, I've been the one, spearheading things, so I can put 2 plus 2 and all that together, which is all what strategy is all about. So yeah, I think it was all meant to be, yeah.
Thank you so much for that, there, Awa. That is very important, no? Because when they say in common African saying that what a man can see standing up, if a child is standing on top of the tree, he cannot see it. It literally means that this man, because he have gone through the experience, no, it's not just because
Sure.
of the age, it's not just because of the number of years that you are. There are foolish old men too, just like there are also wise people. If you have lived life, you have gotten experience, and you are able to translate that to the people, now it becomes very valuable. So
Sure.
that is interesting for us. Okay, now you have been in business, is various angle of it, in various strategy, try to because I can see that you really have the energy in you. What they, what they call the entrepreneur, is that you see problem, but you don't want it to end as a problem. You try to prefer solution to that problem. That is what it is. So tell me now, how did that move you into becoming a brand strategist? Tell me how you made the transition.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I was going from one business to the other, and of course, I was failing through. I started pretty young. I won't say I was successful all through, but I was failing through. I was failing fast. That is the right word. I always tell people one thing: you're gonna fail. failing is part of success. Like it's the big part of success. Like failing means you are trying something. You can't just sit down there, right? But if you are going to fail, then fail fast. There's no time.
Beautiful.
Fail
Love
fast. You know,
that.
so that is the thing. Fail fast and gets it. So I took so many various for every business I went through, I was picking lessons. I knew why I failed in this. Like I told about the container of this, I knew what I'd have done. So next time if you come and meet me, I can tell you things to do. I know I was feeling through it all. And I'm still feeling today. I tell people that is a mindset I put in my head, because then when you think you are now there, then it slows you down. So always look for what you're not getting right and try to fix it and do it. And that is, if for people that know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, for people that know that's what these people do, they are way ahead. They have done it before you. They try new things before that people keep trying it. That's what puts us ahead. So it got to, I think it switched from when I got into farming. Okay, I got into farming. I had a snail farm. I was supplying fresh meats, beef, goat meat, pork meat, I was supplying to hotels, restaurants, private homes. And I got to understand that, hey, you have to find ways to market this. And how best can you market this to get to your target audience, to get to the right people? It's not just everyone. The people who can afford it, the people who can buy it, the way you want to sell it, who can really understand. Then how do you actually get the right employees to work for you? Because we're having a situation whereby getting the right employees is becoming a problem. How can you build the right culture? How can you sell your vision to your employees? Because once your employees understand your vision, everything starts from inside out. Okay. If you want your customers to come back, then treat your employees right. So I started asking, I've always been someone to ask a lot of questions. Okay. And of course, having a whole diary of failures, experiences, and all that. So that is where I had to go and start making research, and I realized that, oh, there's something called branding. Oh, there's something called marketing. Oh, so this is I've been doing for how many years? There's even a course for it. So I didn't even know, right? So I already had the whole rough, physical terrain. So I was like, I'm gonna calm down now. So this thing is even in a book. You can read this thing. And it took me down there to learn it myself because I couldn't spend so much paying people to market, because then you pay a radio station or you pay a Facebook marketer, all that, to market for you, but you weren't getting the right result. And being an entrepreneur, I wanted a situation whereby if I'm spending £5 or $5 or whatever, I'm seeing the results. I'm not joking. Yeah, I'm being serious. So instead of me giving people money and they were not giving me the right results, I needed to learn it myself and see. That's another thing again. See the problem they were making, or the mistake they were making. So I started myself. I had to go learn. I didn't pay anybody to learn because I've always, believed. I mean, you can do these things yourself. I went to YouTube and other materials out there, and that was how I got started. I joined LinkedIn. I practicalized it on LinkedIn, and it worked for me, really well, because when I joined LinkedIn, I remember we're just the few people that people were listening to on LinkedIn were the HRs. For those who know LinkedIn was just for the HRs. They want to see an HR or one big GM, one thing, everybody follows you, everybody listens to you. But once you are just, with no title, then nobody listens. But I needed people to listen to me. I needed to create a platform where so many youth, which I'm happy right now on LinkedIn, so many youths start coming up and actually start showing that I don't need to be an HR. I don't need to work in Chevron. I don't need to work in NNPC. I don't need to work in any of these places for me to stand out as a brand, as a force, as a thought leader. And we're not just going to stand out, we're actually going to dominate, take over. I don't need to work in Chevron. I don't need to do all that, right? I can make much more than that. by just being who I am and sell what I want to sell. So a lot of people call me a rebel. They call me some people call me Sankara. For those who know Sankara, I'm always so and it's worked. And I think that's where you got the couple of awards, recognitions, and because I did it myself, I found it myself, I was in it myself, I got my own strategy. That's what made me unique, stand out, and I think that's the
Th-
result today.
Thank you so much, Awa. You see, this is very important. It's very, very important. I say again, this is the best time to be alive. All right, I've had a couple of interviews with some people, both from tech to AI to different sector, particularly those that are trying to provide solution to the problem that we have. Uh, at the point, I have a moment that I say, okay, maybe it is important that we focus on ourselves instead of focus because we have a section on this podcast where we talk about politics a lot, no? So in this area, it is normal that we blame the government a lot for the thing that they didn't do from infrastructure to because there are just the basic things that the government need to provide for the people, like
Sure.
light and infrastructure, road. You are in agriculture, you produce.
I'm using solar right now.
Thank you for that. So, what I'm beginning to realize is that we can actually solve some of this problem and just leave the government alone if they don't want to respond to us. And one thing that I think we have advantage of is that Africa today have the youngest population in the world in terms of demography. This is opportunity. And how do we tap into this? Is by people like you who have tried, failed several times, succeeded, know how to do it, and you can teach people. You don't need the government now. Because like you just said, you are using solar energy. And solar energy, you don't need to connect to a grid, no?
I thought
I think this is the best time to be alive. But what we need now is a strategy, the way to do it. So first of all, tell me the opportunity you see around you, because I know that Africa is full of opportunity. Give me some hints on that. Then we move back to the strategy and branding as it were. Let's go.
um Africa, the thing is, I tell people whenever there's a problem, it just means there's an opportunity to look for a solution. And once you have found the solution, then that's what makes you stand out. You've made a name. I think one of the biggest problems we have in Africa is level of awareness. Trying to unlearn some things that they've taught you or they've told you, then relearn for yourself. I think Africa, I would say, first things first, one of the things we need to change if we want to change things in Africa is our educational system. Yep. Because after I finished from the university, I had to learn again. People ask me what did you learn from going to school, university. I tell them I learned how to speak English. That's the little I learned. Because I had to really, over 10 years, it was as if I started afresh again. I had to go back to read. I had to go back to really ask questions, and you realize that some of the people who are even the ones teaching others have not even gotten that awareness to even break, others free, right?
That's
So,
important.
yeah, and another thing again in Africa, I don't like saying this is okay, I don't really like saying this, but I think another thing that's really affecting us is the issue of religion. We are all waiting and waiting for God. I mean, I still speak with a lot of Africans. I still speak with my friends. It's sad that my friends, I'm like the one that stands out. And when I talk with them, oh, this is how are you married, or how are you doing, well, or how are you stay in your own house, blah, 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 and all that. But then when we try to talk strategic, logically, let me use the right word, and they tell you things like, oh, it's in Nigeria they say it go better, is it to be better? Then I ask you logically, how do you think it will be better? And they have nothing to say. We're praying about it, then it ends there. I'm trying to
Thank
really.
you for that.
So I have a lot of friends today that are still sending applications for jobs. Same CV that they've been using for the past 8 years. That has not worked in the past 8 years. And they spend so much of their time on, I'm praying about it, it go better. After 8 years. You know? So our biggest problem in Africa is awareness. Really, I think that's our biggest problem in Africa. It is so big that I really don't understand how we're gonna break through it.
Anyway,
Yes.
the how is you people that are there that are challenging the status quo. Because we can see now that if we put all the population together, like you're saying, I say, what is the solution? Let's pray. We're just deceiving ourselves. Because we can see now that the Americans, they're not going to pray over it. It doesn't mean that they don't know how to pray. The Russians are not going to pray over their problem, not because they don't know how to pray. We are the only people who say, let's organize millions of people. Oh God, come and help us.
And it
If
ends
I were
there.
God, I would not help those kind of people.
It ends there.
So the people that can help us are those who have been bold enough to try and fail and then show the way. Because if we go to study history now, we see that this is the way it has always been from generation to generation. Having said that, our what does it even mean brand strategy and therefore brand strategist as a person of your character? What does it mean? Tell it to the layman.
Okay, brand strategy. Let me even explain. Let me even start from the word brand or brand. Okay. A lot of people think branding is when you just tag something on something and say, okay, Obehi Podcast, for example. No, branding has gone beyond just your logos, your websites. I mean, this has gone way beyond that, right? Branding is now more of a perception, you know, of the perception you give to people out there, how you position yourself out there, how you build value for your brand, how you build that trust and loyalty for your brand. Because like I keep on saying, what used to happen 8 years back is not working now. Okay, we have a situation whereby there's a whole lot of noise in the market and people are losing trust. You know, before people even reach out to you to say, hey, solve my problem, they need to trust you, right? Your logo won't do that, your website won't do that, right? Cool. They'll reach out to you because of the perception they have of you, the perception they have of you in their mindset. They reach out to you because of the value your brand, pushes out there. They reach out to you because of the equity. I'm going to give you an example. You have a bottled water and you have a water in a cup. The bottled water is branded, and all that. Then you have water in a cup. The prices are going to be different. People are going to buy that bottled water maybe for like 500. Let me say people might buy the bottled water for let's say $500, and the one in the cup, they might not even want to pay you for it. But the truth is, it's the same water, right? Cool. I always say one thing, okay? There are people, the best, in fact, the professionals that you see topping most categories, in whatever field they are in, might not necessarily be the best in those categories. It's all because of how they've positioned themselves. Now, also, I tell people branding is all about psychology. I don't know what you've read or whatever. I'm not going to make this so complicated for you. But the thing is, branding helps in your day-to-day, activities, how you plan yourself. For example, I didn't go looking for jobs anymore. What I did was I built myself. I repositioned myself, in a way that the jobs actually reach out to me instead of me reaching out to them. Okay, that is a strategy, right? Cool. So if you think branding is not about just having a logo on a website, then that is failure, really, because people don't even care about. People might not even know about your logo and website until after they've had an experience with your services. Then they now say, "Oh, understand. Let me even go to the website or even know, or even get to see the logo." Right? Branding too helps you understand who your audiences are. For example, a lot of people make the mistake and say, even in Nigeria today, let me use Nigeria today, see someone saying, I want to open a barbering salon. Then I ask you, Okay, why don't you open a barbering salon? I just feel it's because there's no work. Let me just do something. You understand? And you've not checked out the location. You've not even checked out if the barbering salon is there already. You've not even checked out what do these barbering salons have that you don't even have. What benefit are they giving that you don't even have? What is the experience they're giving out there? Do you even know how to barb? How would you rate your barbering skills with your fellow competitors in that same vicinity? The people in the vicinity actually, do they actually need another barbering salon? Do they even need a barber? Okay, what is in the industry of barbering salon? It's an industry for that. What are the changes that has gone in the past 3-4 years? Are people still barbing, or they actually, due to the economy, barbing themselves at home? A lot of people avoid these questions. Okay, what are your strengths in this barbering? Do you even know how to talk with people? Are you a stammerer? Do you know how to relate with people? Do you, these are foundational questions that people don't even look at. They just say, oh, because Obehi is having a podcast, I think I'll go have a podcast. But do you even have the good communication skills? I don't know if you understand. So, these were the things, like I told you, through the years I was learning. You are going to be dealing with people, not robots. So you need to learn how to deal with people. You need to be able to listen to them. You need to be able to connect directly to their pain points. They might have so many, but that particular thing that strikes them, okay, what is a unique selling point? Because I tell people the problem people face is the whole big words, a unique selling point, value proposition. All these things are layman terms. So that's how will I explain it right now? That you really really need to know. So there's a whole lot, but
All right, that is enough. That is enough to get started. Otherwise, we're going to scare away those who are just trying to. I'm joking. If you are ready for business, be ready to crack it because it take a lot. No, when you were making the explanation, there is something I really found very important there that I try to pick out. No, something like value addition of. I know you did make mention of. Gary Vee before, no, who also is an apostle of this value and content creation, no? Not just putting content, but adding value to the people. Because I think the economy have grown beyond just putting product out there, no? It's
sure.
now about the service. How do you treat the customer? So in this world, value, equity, and perception. Can you expand on it a little bit? How do we build them? Because it is when you build your value now that you can begin to treat it as an equity that you cannot earn from it because you have developed it. People now know who you are. But help me, how do we even build some of these things so that we can benefit from it, we can leverage them?
Well, like I always tell people, the first things first is no matter how good your marketing is, right, you can't sell a bad product, right? So it all starts from, I tell people it all starts from self-discovery. You need to ask yourself, you need to spend time with yourself to ask yourself a lot of questions. You need to spend time to ask some self-discovery questions. You need to be able to know yourself first before you even go into anything. You need to be able to know what you yourself you're good at. You need to connect with your soul. I know what I'm good at, right? I can stand in a crowd and talk for the next the next 7 days, and I'm not going to stop. That is one of my strengths. I've been talking with people right from when I was younger. People that were in Nigeria we say agbalagba. They'll say this guy this young boy. I still talking. That is my strength. I also know my weaknesses too. Don't get me wrong. And you see the problem first is people don't even know themselves. If you don't know yourself, how do you give value to others? That's just what it is. It all starts from knowing yourself. Knowing yourself. Know what yourself needs. Know what yourself can give. Okay? And when you do all that, it starts from the inside out. Okay? Then we can now align it to, okay, what value or what problem do you even want to solve? Okay? Now, your belief system too matters. I always tell people that. And you see, every brand is being humanified today. When you think about Coca-Cola, you think about excitement. When you think about iPhone or Apple, you talk about innovations. The truth is, you cannot have a different personality, like a person or the visionary being a different personality and the brand is selling a different personality. So every brand
That
is
is
a
confusion.
representative. Yeah, every brand is a representative of the visionary itself. That's the simple truth. And that is why in my classes, or when people reach out to me, hey, I need you for this, I need you for that, I always have a self-discovery section first. I don't want to be in a ship that doesn't even have a direction. And that is my job. So then I ask you a lot of questions, and you realize that most times there are a lot of loopholes. I had a discovery session 2 days ago, and the woman doesn't even know who her competitors are. She doesn't even know how many people were in the field before she even started. She doesn't even like all what she knew was there was money in it. So it starts from knowing yourself first, knowing who you are, knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, okay? And that is what now goes into the services you want to offer. Okay? Now, how do you even build value in that? Your branding is not just about you, it's about those who work with you. If Obehi Podcast has a personality of, let me say, sincerity, humility, and people working with you don't share the same belief system as you, it's going to affect your brand. It's like you're walking into an Apple office or an MTN office, maybe in Calabar, and your head office is in Abuja. The same experience the one in Abuja is giving should be the same experience the one in Calabar is giving. All these are what comes together to build the value. Now, how do you even build a value? It's about, you make a promise. Every brand is a promise, right? Cool. Now, it's not about just making a promise. That would be most people make. The thing is, can you fulfill the promise? If you're making a promise and you're not fulfilling the promise, then I don't understand. You is failure, right? So you made a promise. The question is, can you fulfill the promise? Or you're just making a promise. That is where it goes back to self-awareness. Now, a value is being created when you've made a promise and you fulfill the promise consistently over a given period of time. Right? Cool. And that is what builds the equity in the market. That's what makes it feel, oh, Obehi is better than so person, or so person is better than so person, right? Because of the experience people have gotten, not just from Obehi, but from every touch point. A touch point is where, the meeting point between the brand and the audience or the customers, right? And when you build the equity, a perception is just talking about promise and making your audience have a it's about building the way you want them to see you, the way you want them to know you. Whenever they hear about Obey, what goes in their mind? You don't define your brand sometimes, because at the end of the day, your brand is what people think about it, or what people think it is, and that is where perception comes in. So you realize that the problem a lot of people do face at the end of the day is they go forward, they spend so much money without knowing this few details, and they come back into trying to build a brand. They start with, I want to have a website, I want to have a logo, I want to have a font, I want to have a slogan, I want to have a color, right? But these are just like putting a roof, putting a window, putting and painting the outside of the house. But what happens in the inside of the house, which is the major thing? I'm not going to go to a beautiful outside. No, I want a home, right? So, uh, these are all, it is, and so many other things
All
that
right,
I
Awa.
think.
This is a very common behavior for most people, no? That is why most people also fail in the business, no? Even though failures, it means when you actually stop trying, no? Because if you stop trying, that is the end of it, that is zero, no? Because actually minus. Because for the time that you are putting the money, you are losing. Is it possible that while people are doing this random thing, even in the area of business, not be clear on what they want, not be sure of what they want, and not even be ready to learn is part of the education, general education that we have gotten? Can you help me to understand why this behavior is coming from?
Okay, people go into things like this sometimes because of Well, I'll say level of awareness. People don't really know these things sometimes. Um, because I wouldn't say the problem is the money or capital. No, I would say it all depends on the level of awareness. So people are not aware about these things. I mean, I've had a lot of businesses, or clients, and most time when I discuss with Nigerians or Africans, they don't even know anything about branding. All they know is produce and sell. Okay, so I think at the end of the day, what we have to do is to create more awareness about this, and that's why we have all this webinars and all that. We talk about businesses and how to scale up. So I would say the problem is awareness, level of awareness.
All right. Now, how do you develop your business brand strategy? How do you eventually, of course, you want to stand out now, but you don't stand out
Yeah.
by miracle. That is a process to get there. Let me understand how you define that for your for a business.
When you reach out for you to, like, I like explaining, it's like ABCs to make it very easy to understand. Um, when you want to start a business, first things first is, why do you want to start a business? The biggest mistake you make is, if the major purpose of starting your business is because you want to blow. People use that word blow or
Make
make
money.
money. Blow. you know. I'm not saying you will make money. Of course, when you actually sell value or give value, the return is actually productive. Very, 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 very. I mean, never to tell you, you need to be a man of value. People don't understand. When you start getting older, you begin to understand what it means, but you need to be a person of value. Because a person of value, can never be financially, should I say, broke. Because you are selling value. Creativity rules the world today. Value rules the world today. When you are out there to solve problems and you're able to monetize it, then of course, people can actually relate to why they have to pay you for it, because I mean it's a necessity. Okay. Now the first thing is, why do you want to go into the business? If it's to add value, to help people, it always gives a different level of fulfillment. Okay, a different level of fulfillment. And a business is a journey, it's not a destination. Because definitely you keep on innovating, you keep on getting better in it, you keep on bringing out better products. Okay, now what drives it, okay, is not a mindset of making money. It's a mindset of, I want to add value, I want to be known for this, I want to be known for that. Now that's the first thing. Why do you want to go into it? Money or adding value? Now if it's adding value, okay, now the next thing you need to do for you to build a good strategy is a brand discovery session. A brand discovery session is when you, or the management, or whoever are the leaders of the company, coming together, okay, in like a meeting. That what the session is. um, and getting clarity, critical details, critical information, understand, so which will be needed to make the right strategy, or to create the right strategy to push it forward. I'm going to explain. Obehi Podcast, for example, wants to build, let me say, a supermarket or something. You get a brand strategist, you have a meeting. The brand strategist, the discovery session is the first things first. If you reach out to anybody, I even sell this to even content writers, because branding entails content writing, um, graphics, your marketing strategies and all that. Now, the first thing is, when you reach out, the first thing your search should ask you is for a discovery session. The first thing your content writer should ask is a discovery session, so that they can know exactly where you are coming from, what your story is, what vision you want to give out, what mission, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, who your competitors are, who are your target audience. Everybody cannot be your target audience. Who your target audiences are, where are their location, okay, What are the day-to-day activities like? Okay, now let's go back to your product itself. What unique benefit can your product give to these people? Do they even need it? Why should they even choose you? These are very critical questions. Without these questions, create the foundation. A strong foundation for you to build that house. No matter how beautiful a house is, if it's on the wrong foundation, it's just waiting to crash someday. And when it falls, let's pray it doesn't injure everybody in it. So the first thing is you need to ask yourself these questions. These questions gives you more clarity. It gives everybody the team clarity, even the brand strategist. If you are reaching out to a brand strategist and he doesn't have this session with you, just know one thing: he's just there for your money. I mean, it's like is you guys are driving blindly, because where are you people even going to? Now, the answers from this series of questions, like I said, every strategy is different. There is no straight template to a strategy. It's based on where the business is going, based on these answers. The brand strategy goes back, okay, with these details, and start looking for how to create, the right path based on the strength of this business. Is if they don't have the right finance, or they have the right finance, or they don't have the right team, I think we should get the right team. Okay, I think the market is this way or that way. What data are we working with? I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So you tell me today, I want to start a company with product A. Somebody else might come and meet me and tell me, I want to start the same company with product A. Or the strategy I will give this person will be different from the strategy I will give you, right? Because the thing is, there are two different data. Okay? So I tell people, for example, I'm going to give an example. People reach out to me regularly and they say, I tell people, because you are selling shoe in Ojo Edegba or Maitama Market or wherever, because they are selling shoe, another person is selling shoe, does not necessarily mean you people are competitors. Because I'm selling wrappers and another person is selling the same wrapper does not necessarily mean we're competitors. I'm going to explain that the benefit might be different. I might be selling wrappers and my benefit is my wrappers are cheap. I want everybody to be tying wrappers. Okay, so my wrappers are cheap, right? But the problem is the quality might not be great. And another person might say, I'm selling the same wrappers, but they are not cheap. But the quality is top notch. If you wear it, you know, yes, you are wearing something. Now you find out that automatically my audience, who my target audiences are, immediately shifts. Benefit different, target audience different. Now those who have the money want to go for quality, right? Now,
Absolutely. Yeah.
where do we get those that have the money? You can start see that the same business, right? Different strategy. So a lot of people just jump in. Or okay, I know a lot of people reach out to me. Oh, I use this strategy. Oh, I went to meet this person. It was our branding team and blah blah blah. These are the little details that make it look as if somebody else in Nigeria, they tell you this person is doing ritual. It's not doing ritual. These are the simple.
They still say that continuously.
They still say that. I mean, I'm telling you, I have a friend. I have a friend that has a rice. I think he has a rice farm. Yeah, he has a rice farm, and this guy sells, and he is the only one that sells there. People say, "Oh, it's them that they're doing rituals. Oh, his hand is in something." That's it. What Africans don't understand, they try to bring that spirituality in it. I'm going to give you an example. In my location, okay, when I started, like I said, let me talk about a few bit of my success stories. Okay, I'm living in my own house. Okay, I love nature, so even from a distance, you see the trees and all that and all that. I'm pretty young. Okay, I go to landlord meetings, or probably when the DPO is around. And I'm the youngest, and most of the landlords there are probably in their 60s, 50s, right? And they say, "Oh, this is our right. Oh, he's really young. Is it all of that house? Ah, his hand is into something. He's doing something. It's not pure. I'm serious. I mean this is just what it is. So they don't, as I said, the level of awareness, they don't try to find out exactly logically why this business is doing better than mine. No. Do you understand? So every business comes with its different strategy based on it discoveries and the data you get from it. So
That's great. Thank you for that. All right. Now, I want you to share me a case study with your business, no? Okay, I'm not saying reveal me a name and phone number of a person, no? But a case study or maybe a business who came to you because they didn't know what they were doing. And of course, they know that they need a strategy to be able to succeed in their branding. And because of your work, they succeeded. Please share with me anything.
okay, offline, if I go offline right now, there are a couple of businesses. We have one steel project, it's a construction company. I think they work with Owando at the moment. There is another business. I think I was into dredging at a point in time. I was in Port Harcourt throughout last year. Sometimes, they bring you over. And I think the problem they had was it was a dredging company. I don't know if you understand. A dredging company, through the waterways, they dredge, they try to sand fill areas, sell sands and all that. So the man got a very big dredging machine. It's always like a ship, and but it wasn't working well. It wasn't working. It wasn't delivering. Like, he was putting so much in it, but he wasn't getting a feedback. Now, branding doesn't just end in you know, selling your product, and it also comes into the team. And I remember I always tell people one thing: if you are going to invest so much in a business, you have to be there yourself, especially in Africa. Okay, you can't just build a big ship, a big shop, a big whatever, and you're not going to be there presently, and expect people to give you feedback. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. So, how well do you even know your team? That's what I do too. I want to meet your team. I want to ask them questions because you find that sometimes they start asking these same questions. How do you even know they are part of your team? They can't even answer these questions. They don't even know what your vision is. They don't even know. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. They don't know nothing. And I told them, man, I don't want you to answer. I want to talk with your team. So by the time I got there, we realized, wow, it was that bad. They don't even know the personality of the man. They were just working, more like, okay, there was no culture. So I think we had to, revamp the team, change the location, okay, and a few other couple of things, and I think that worked. Then internationally, and let me leave local businesses. Of course, this is Africa. The problem with Africa is most businesses don't still. Most of them are not really online. They don't really have the awareness. They don't to have to come online, have the websites, content. No, it's not like that in Africa. Africa is still, brick mortar, house, shop. Then if you go online, I co-founded YouTube, which was 2 years ago. And the idea of YouTube was to actually solve this issue of awareness, give youth job, bring them together, webinars and all that. I co-founded YouTube, built it to where it was with Faith and Wellbeer. Then I stepped down. I'm always on the move. Once I'm done, I leave. I'm working with Optivity now at the moment, which is actually in Colorado. Optivity now they're into customer service. Okay. Also, I was working with Gamma Care, Home Care. They were into cleaning services. Right now, I'm actually with this was last week. I started with this big organization in Texas. For now, it's coded because they don't want to be out there. But they're building a software with UN to solve the problem of natural disasters, especially in Texas. So I'm their brand strategist, and through the weekend I've been working my ass out to make sure, because branding involves you building a brand story. Okay, I'm a storyteller too, so trying to get their brand stories to Red Cross and all that. I should be in Brazil next month or so. Yep, with a company too. Woo, so, yeah, there's a whole lot, and it's fulfilling for me because it feels more like you're a doctor. You sit and with a whole team,
You
and they start
diagnose
telling
company and say, wait, don't work.
yeah, and it's fun for me because that's why I said I'm grateful. I'm glad that I failed and failed fast. I'm still feeling today, and I wouldn't have had the confidence to be able to listen. And I mean, I'm talking about most of the jobs I've gotten in the past years are actually from the United States, even though I'm in Nigeria. It has also helped me beat the Nigerian economy and naira because then when you're earning in the foreign currency, it has also gotten me really busy, gotten my brain working because then I'm thinking, I'm researching, I'm writing, so I think I would have. I mean, and then all my siblings are in very good schools. One has finally finished university. The other ones have gone to schools. This was almost impossible. Gotten them accommodations, So it wouldn't have been possible if I'd actually finally gotten a job in GTB Bank. Sorry, or some bank or something. No, I think yeah.
that's
So and there's
that's
room
great.
for growth. I'm still growing and
That's very
thank you.
interesting. All right, now in this moment, we want to give you a few seconds to promote yourself because we understand you value your time. You are here educating
Yeah.
people. This is what we do, no? So in these few seconds, we usually give it to our guests to promote yourself. Do you have anything, any offer there for sales, or if it is just simply connecting with people, it's all there for you. Go ahead and do what you have to do for yourself.
Okay, well, I always find fulfillment in trying to make sure that we have many more jobs, more businesses, because I think one of the problems the world is facing today is the issue of unemployment. But when you have more successful businesses, then you've actually battled, or you're actually battling, this big problem, which is unemployment. Okay, I always have discovery sessions. They're not always free, but just a few dollars, $100 for let me say 45 minutes, 1 hour max. I do this only on the weekends because my weekdays are really, really. I mean, from now I have to now have a whole workload. I have to go to the office. In Nigeria, you have offices. You have to drive all the way to the office. So I have discovery sessions every weekend. If you want to talk about your business, if you want to find out what you're not doing right, if you want to find out what the problem might be, if you want to get an ideology or better clarity, if you want self-discovery, if you want to talk with someone, I do this on Saturdays and Sundays only for the 5 minutes. You can always reach out. And my dream is to make sure that we have more businesses out there that are functional because that will also help, me because I'm not an HR today, but I think I'm giving more people jobs than HRs. Because by the time I work with companies, there are always loopholes. They need a content writer, they need a software developer, right? So most times, then I get to know or meet people that I know that might actually do the job or I'll source it to them. So it gives me that fulfillment knowing that your business is doing well. And I'll be grateful and I'll be happy to help. Sure.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. All right, now the last question. What would you recommend for a small business that is looking for a way to brand itself so that it can stand out from the competition? 2 or 3 strategies. Please go.
Well, the first things first is know about yourself. Number two is make sure that you know about the value you want to give out there, and number three, make sure that the value you're giving out there is unique because you have to stand out. And unless you stand out and reposition yourself, you're not going to be visible. And if you're not visible, you can't build trust. And if you can't build trust, then you're out of business.
Thank you, Awa. I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewanfo. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.